Okay, welcome to a tier list I am going to be making for Red Leader. This is a game I've loved, and I want to see a competitive scene come into, like, just a competitive community start forming. Because I have never seen this game in a competitive setting, and I think it's one of the best ones, and hype to watch. And that is Super Mario. Wait, Super Mario Power Tennis. I love this game. I want to see the competitive scene grow. So that's why I'm gonna start making a tier list for it and post it. See how much I can get for it. And this is gonna be uh, with power shots because I think power shots just makes it more like fascinating to watch and play just hype. It without power shots it's kind of eh. I don't really like it without power shots. So, and you know, I haven't really played too much with other people, but I got every single character their star ranks, so I played with them a decent amount. But this list might change if I play with like other people and like just playing more in a competitive setting against other characters and just different matchups. So this is my opinion, like just starting out. Um, I'm just gonna start with the best character. Well, one of the best characters who I think is one of the best in the entire game is Peach. And I love this because I'm a Peach main in like any Mario sports games, like golf, tennis, Mario Kart, except for Smash. I play as Peach. I don't know, like in pretty much Mario Party for sure. But I played Peach basically in every single Mario game. So I love this. But I think Peach is probably broken in this game is her power shots. Well, for starters, she's a technique character, so she can kind of aim the ball wherever she kind of wants, and her curves just have more accuracy than like any other character. And then her offensive power shot, it's alright. It's like not super great or not super bad. It's just average. It's a fast power shot. The only thing that makes it really good is like it has a deadly curve and it has a bunch of hearts around it. So it's basically like it's hard to see where it's going to go, and you just kind of get a free power shot. And then her defensive power shot, oh, that thing is busted. Um, it's a lob shot, so that's even deadlier. And the way it works is she uses it and it kind of just grabs the ball, so you can use it center of the court, and you can like just stay in position. So if they manage to hit the ball back to you, you can kind of just react to where like they're gonna hit the ball. So she's not in a bad position when she uses her defensive power shot. And it's a lob, so they have to run back to go hit it. Peach, one of the best characters in the game, hands down. Now I'm gonna go with the one of the worst characters in the game. I think one of the worst characters in the game is definitely Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is god awful in my opinion, like with power shots. He's a power hitter, so don't get me wrong, he hits hard, hits the ball really fast, but heavies with power shots kind of go down a little bit in the tier list because they're slow and the power shots aren't super great. But with Donkey Kong, his defensive power shot, it's again, he stays at one spot, so it's good. So he's in position. He throws the boomerang banana to hit it back, but he has a little bit of end lag, so it takes him a little while to recover. So you can kind of hit it in the opposite corner, and you kind of can't get to the ball fast enough most of the time because he's a heavy too, right? So he's slower on the court. And then his offensive power shot, it's a cannon, which it goes super fast, right? But the main downside is that it has so much end lag, where most of the time I can hit, but take this in consideration, I've only played against mostly computers on like higher difficulties, so I haven't played against like human players. But his offensive power shot has so much lag, and I can always just counter hit, and he can't get to it. He's just done, like for that point. Back to S tier, I think Waluigi's busted. Waluigi is busted. His type is a defense character, so he's bigger on the court. So but he's not the fastest, but he's just big, so he can kind of hit the ball from a lot of positions from not moving too much. And then, so he can kind of just like not move, but still hit the ball above him, like around him. Like he doesn't need to move that much. His offensive power shot is pretty good because it's like a tornado when he hits it. It doesn't have a big curve or a big speed rating, but if the person hits the ball, they kind of spin out of control for a little bit. So and then if Waluigi counter hits it, it's a very high chance that Waluigi's gonna get that point. So his power shot is actually like good just for manipulating the next volley. His defensive power shot is swimming to get the ball, which is it sounds ridiculous, but it's freaking good. He can use it basically anywhere on the court, and he hits it. And then whenever he hits it, honestly, like he hits it kind of further away from the ball, and since he's a defense character, so he has like a bigger hitbox, he kind of just like he stays in the middle of the court. Because if you use it on one side, ball's on the other side, swims to go gets it, he ends up in the middle of the court just because his hitbox is so big because of defense character. And then you can't do a lob shot over him because he's so tall and a defense character, so he just hits it above. It's hard to get past Waluigi. Waluigi is so freaking good in this game. I think I have one more for S rank. How can I forget? How can I forget about Yoshi? Yoshi is busted. These three characters are like the best in the entire games for sure, in my opinion. Yoshi, he's a speed character, so he can just get around the court super well. His power hits and controls, since he's a speed character, are not super great. So he doesn't hit the ball super fast. He doesn't have a lot of control, but he's fast. But his power shots is what makes him like top tier. His defensive power shot turns into an egg, and he goes towards it, kind of like in a curve, and hits the ball back. No effects or anything, but his defensive power shot puts him basically in the center of the court, so he's not out of position or anything. So it's hard to get past Yoshi if he has his power shot. And then his offensive power shot, a lot of time you can if the shot is over your character and you try doing a power shot, sometimes they'll do their defensive power shot because their offensive power shot isn't in range because the ball is going over them. That's not the case for Yoshi. Yoshi, because he goes up in the air and then hits it, so even if it's higher, I'm getting Discord messages or notifications. What was I saying? Yeah, Yoshi's offensive power shot because oh man, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, he can just like go up and get it no matter what, even if it's gonna go past him on the head, because it doesn't matter. And a lot of characters' offensive power shots don't do that. So like his offensive power shot is usually gonna hit, so it's not gonna miss. So that's why I think those three characters. But you can tell every single of their defensive power shots for the 3 S tiers that I have, their defensive power shots keeps them in the center of the court basically, and keeps them in position. Like that's very important in this game, is just staying in position. So back down to A rank. So for A rank, Daisy is actually pretty freaking good because she's basically the same as Peach, but she's not, quotation marks, Echo Fighter because she's kind of worse Peach in a way. She's a technique character, so she can kind of aim the ball to wherever they want. So like that's good, right? Her defensive power shot is like she just flies like, or I guess uses flowers to go towards the ball and hits it, which is good. She doesn't have a lot of end leg. It's a good decent one, but sometimes she can kind of leave herself open from the other side of the court because she lunges to the other side. So if the opposing player hits it on the opposite side, she has a hard time to get back to over there and get in position to hit that ball. So that's another big thing. And I've seen her defensive power shot miss if she's too far away. That's the only defensive power shot I actually miss. Because if it's too far away, she'll start going, and then she'll just stop short of the ball. So that's worst Peach right there for sure. And then her offensive power shot is kind of same thing as Peach. She just hits it with a big curve. So yeah, same as Peach, same one. But you can kind of see it a little better than Peach because it's like it doesn't have a bunch of hearts around it. But yeah, like Peach is just better Daisy, like, and then Daisy just worse Peach. But like you can do good things with Daisy. That's why she's an A tier. Who do I have? I'm gonna say, who else is an A tier? Oh, Shy Guy. Oh, how can I forget about this character? He's a technique character, so he can kind of use kind of curves to his advantage and do really nasty curves. That's the tricky characters in this game. So tricky characters are just, honestly, they're just better because their curves are so nasty. But his power shots are what makes him good. Defensive power shot is like he extends his tennis racket and hits it. So even if he's far enough away, he kind of like moves towards it and then hits it. So since it extends, you can kind of use it in the center of the court and still be in position to hit the ball for the return. So like I said, every single character who's good in this game has a good power shot, and it keeps them in position. So because positioning in tennis is the best you can do in these games. And then his offensive power shot, it's like he grabs lightning and then hits on the ball and it does a lob shot, which is scary, and that's why Peach is so good, because it does a lob shot. So they have to go back, get underneath the star, and then hit it. But it makes the ball electrified. So when they hit it, they kind of stutter for a few seconds trying to hit the move. So that's also kind of like a free hit for Shy Guy after, if they can't get to the ball in time, because it's a big stutter. But he is slow. That's the main thing. He is very slow. So you can kind of like go from one side of the court to the other with the ball, and it's hard for him to keep up to it. I guess I can say that for the other characters. For Daisy, for Peach and Daisy, you kind of like want to do the same thing. You kind of want to just keep her moving, because like they're technique characters, so you just like want to keep her moving. You don't want Peach and Daisy to stay in control of the match. If you have a technique character in control, it just gets bad for you. Yoshi is just hard to get around because he's a speed character and his power shots are stupid good. But I guess what you want to do against Yoshi is honestly probably just use probably lob shots. I mean, not lob shots, drop shots. Get him towards the net, like, and then like try to hit it over him before he gets his offensive power shot, because since he can basically go in the air and get it with his offensive power shot anyways, you kind of like want to try to get over Yoshi, because like since he's not the tallest character, so if you can get around Yoshi, get him at the front of the court, that's like the big thing you want to do against Yoshi. But it's hard because he's a speed character. Waluigi, like I said, he's super hard to get around for being a defense character. But once you do like kind of get him moving around the court from one side of the court to the other, it's kind of smooth sailing. But it's hard to get him to that point because he's so big. But if you do get him moving and get it behind him, there's not much he can do. DK, for being the worst character in the game, it's pretty easy for these top tiers. But DK, he can overwhelm you with his power. That's his big thing. But he's slow. He doesn't have a lot of control, like hitting the ball, and he can kind of just get overwhelmed easily. But he can also overwhelm his opponent because he's just so strong. That's his strengths. So if he just keeps hitting the ball back and forth with his power, that would be the best thing for DK to do. I know I have a couple more A ranks for sure. Koopa Troopa. Honestly, I think Koopa Troopa is an A tier for sure. He's a speed character, so kind of the same thing as Yoshi. He can kind of get around the court. But his power shots is good too. His defensive power shot is basically the same as Yoshi, where it kind of goes in a curve and he stays in position. So he's always in position. It's hard to get Koopa Troopa out of position. And then his offensive power shot is basically makes the ball water, and it does a drop shot. That is scary. It's a very good drop shot. So it forces you to get to the nets, and then Koopa Troopa can like do a lob shot to get it over you. So that's scary. But Koopa Troopa, like, he's small. That's his weakness. He has a small hurt box. So if he's on like one side and you hit it to the other side, he needs to like basically run and then probably dash attack definitely to the other side. Because every character has like a lunge attack. And like there's a few better ones, but they're all pretty much the same except for a couple that's either really bad or really good. But most of the part, the lunge attacks are pretty average. But that's Koopa Troopa's main weakness. But I guess it can also go over because Yoshi's power shot is the only one that works for going high. So you can also just hit it over him because he's a speed character. So that's his weakness and his strengths. But he's still a solid character. Mid tiers. I'm just gonna do this really quick. Mario Brothers. They are straight up no big strengths, no big weaknesses. I do think Mario is just slightly better than Luigi. Or I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I played Mario Brothers. It depends. It depends. I'll get to them separately. So, for Mario, well, I'll start with their movement options first. Mario and Luigi, they're all around characters, so they can move around the court average. They have average attack power, average speed, average curve shots. So they're all around just decent characters. But Mario's power shots, his defensive power shot kind of lunges in the air and goes towards the ball and hits it. That sounds like a good thing, right? It can be, but sometimes it could be a bad thing, because if he's using it kind of horizontally across the court, he kind of lunges, like jumps, spins, hits the ball, and he's on the other side of the court, pretty much, because he goes really far. So if they hit it on the other side of the court, it's hard for Mario to get back to get in position to hit that return. But if you're using it kind of from the back to the front, he kind of like goes forward. So that's probably the way you want to use it, because then he's like pushing up and being the aggressor. and then Mario's offensive power shot is like a big giant hammer, so it has a lot of launch power, and then it also like burns the opponent. Like every character has like a special unique status effect with their offensive power shot, but I know it. I throw in the big ones. Yoshi, like I think Yoshi just like makes them slower or something, so it's not super or something like that. But Mario, yeah, just all around decent character, but he could get overwhelmed in certain areas if the person is strong in those areas. But he can kind of balance between good and bad. There's just nothing good about him, nothing's great about him. Except his defensive power shot if you use it kind of launch ways. Because he can't kind of like get himself out of position. Luigi, same thing, he has a hammer. Same thing, he has decent hitting power, speed, angles. His defensive power shot is completely different from Mario though, where he uses his vacuum. So he stays in one spot, which is different from Mario, and he kind of just hits the ball with his tennis racket with the vacuum cleaner. But it has the only thing it's very scary is that it has a little bit of end lag, so it's hard for him to kind of get back in position. But he can stay in the center of the court because it's a power shot that he's in the same position. He doesn't move, so that's also a good thing. So kind of like if you play like Mario and Luigi, that would actually be really good for like depending on the matchup. Because if you want to have a stationary defensive power shot, you pick Luigi. But if you want to be like kind of like more aggressive, you pick Mario. So like it depends on the matchup. So like, but they're just average characters for sure. Now, next B rank, Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong, without power shots, Diddy Kong I feel like would be S tier, but with power shots, he kind of drops, but he's still a solid character. He's a speed character, so again, same as Koopa Troopa. He's small. You can get around him. If you do get around him or over him, he can't get to the ball. But he's a speed character, so he can kind of get across the court. His offensive power shot, basically, he curves the ball with like a banana shot, and then if they return it, I think they're the opponent's reverses controls or something like that. So it's good, but it's not a super fast shot, so it's all right. But with their controls being wonky, Diddy Kong can most likely counteract with the next shot. So it's all right, but it's not super great. Defensive power shot, he uses his jetpack and goes and gets the ball. The only thing, like, it sounds good because he kind of, no matter where he uses it, he pretty much stays in the center of the court. But again, he has DK syndrome, where his defensive power shot has decent amount of end lag, so it's hard to recover after using his defensive power shot. But he's a speed character, so he's just that much better than DK. But he doesn't hit the ball super hard, so he's just like a fast character. Next, I think is I put Wario in B tier. I think Wario's definitely the best power character in the game. He's a power character, so he's slower, but he's not super slow because he's not like a big clunky character. But he's still pretty quick. Power characters don't have a good arcs; they just have good hitting power. But his power shots, defensive power shot uses like a spring tennis racket. So again, he does move with it, but if it's like close enough, he doesn't have to move. So again, it's a power shot that where he can use it from basically anywhere, and he kind of can stay in the middle of the court and stay balanced, like stay square to the opponent. So that's good. But again, it can kind of like screw with him because he's staying in the center court or staying where he is. So you can kind of like just play around that and hit him in separate corners, keep him moving. His offensive power shot is he hits himself with a hammer and then he just does a big swing. So it's I don't know, it's alright. It's a good launch power shot for sure. And I think his status effect is this kind of the same as Shy Guys, like where if they hit it, they kind of stutter here and there like, after they hit it. Yeah, but Wario hits hard because he's a power character, but he's not super fast, but he's not super slow. Definitely the best power character in the game for sure. Let's see. Ooh, Paratrooper. Paratrooper is probably like B tier also. Because Paratrooper is he's a technique character, so you can kind of aim the ball. Same thing as Peach and Daisy. He can aim the ball kind of like and have special curves where he wants to hit the ball. He's fast on the court because he has wings, right? So he's fast. So he can kind of he's a technique character that has a lot of speed, and that's scary. But his defensive power shot, he lunges up and then goes towards the ball that hits it. So he kind of goes towards one side. So he kind of leaves the other side open a little bit. But he can get over there because he's faster. His offensive power shot, he just goes back and then hits it. Yeah, I think it's more like a lob shot. I forget what his stats effect is because the ball goes purple and then it goes a lob shot. I forget what his stats effect is. But it's a lob shot, so it's scary. But it's not like super fast or so his power shots are kind of but his movement options are amazing. And his lunge attack is probably one of the more different ones because his lunge attack, he goes flying, but he does go flying, so it's hard to him to get back in position. So because he kind of goes way far to the, he keeps going even after you initiate the launch attack. So it goes far, but he kind of leaves himself out of position. Is there anything else about Paratrooper I want to throw in? I think I kind of mentioned everything. Yeah, his power shots kind of drag him down a little bit, but his movement options and control of the ball is, like, honestly pretty par. Is there anyone else I have in B tier? Honestly, probably Boo actually. Boo's a tricky character, so he can kind of have those deadly ass curves, and Boo, in my opinion, definitely has like the strongest curve game. In my opinion, he has the strongest curves. I struggle trying to hit those curves. His launch attack is like he teleports, so he goes pretty far, but the downside is he has a lot of end lag. So it's very scary to use it. But it does go far because it's a teleport. That's another different one. And he's decently quick on the court, but he's not like as fast as like Paratrooper. His defensive power shot makes a bunch of boos, and then he hits it, and he kind of like stays in the middle of like the wall of boos, like whenever he finishes a power shot. Oh, I need to. Alright. I need to reset my music. What was I saying about Boo? Oh yeah, his defensive power shot is like very I don't know, it's decent for what it does. Kind of just makes a wall of boos, hits it, and he stays kind of in the center of the wall whenever he finishes it. Um, doesn't have a lot of end lag, so it's good. Um, yeah, his power shot just, I don't know, balances out for his lack of power, essentially. Just keeps the... He'll be a good doubles character because he kind of like... He has a lot of defensive stuff, but he's not very good on the offense. So it's kind of very good at returning the ball, but not really good at like striking it. But he does have a lot of curves, so he can get around a lot of the characters. His offensive power shot is basically grabs a bunch of boos, makes a giant tennis racket, and then hits it. Now that one is scary. One, it's a deadly ass curve. It is. It's a deadly ass curve, so you gotta be careful with that. And the effect is, I think it just slows the opponent because they get swallowed up with boos. So it just really slows them down. And then with his deadly ass curves, he can just basically hit it again in the opposite side, and they can't get to it most of the time. So, whew. Boo's a trickster, that's for sure. I guess that's what boos do. Alright, I'm just gonna go with C. See if any of these characters can go higher than C. I'm just gonna start with C now. Bowser. Bowser, I think, is actually C. Like he's slow. He's slow, but he's a power character, so he's probably the hardest hitting heavy. But he does counter it with his lack of speed and control. But his power shots kind of makes him probably better than DK for sure. His defensive power shot, same as like Koopa Troopa and Yoshi, where he kind of just does a spin in his shell and then hits it, so he kind of like stays in position, stays in the center of the court pretty much. So that's good for a heavy for sure. And then his offensive power shot, he basically blows fire and then hits it. So it's a really fast power shot. Probably the fastest power shot in the game, definitely for a heavy. But again, he's slow, but he's big though, right? So he can kind of like hit far on either side and above him. But if you just keep Bowser moving, it's hard for him to get in. So against like Koopa Troopa, Peach, Waluigi, probably even like Mario Brothers can like really keep him moving, and it'll be hard for Bowser to control, get back into the game. But if Bowser gets in control with his ridiculous power game, oh, you are in trouble. Because you will not be able to recover from just the sheer power. Because you wouldn't be able to like slow it down and start using your advantages. Because Bowser would just overwhelm you. Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is probably like at the verge of B, but maybe C. So I'm just gonna throw him in C for now. He might be B. I haven't really experimented too much with Bowser Jr. But he's a tricky character, so he's the same thing as like Shy Guy and Boo, so he can have those deadly ass curves. And he's fast. He's actually probably the fastest tricky character. Because he's definitely faster for Shy Guy. Might be slightly faster than Boo. He's fast. But his power shots kind of probably drag him down a little bit. Because Shy Guy's power shots are just better. Boo power shots are probably better than Bowser Jr.'s. So he's just probably like the worst tricky character. But he's fast though. His defensive power shot kind of just spins his wand and he lunges towards it and hits the ball. So it's kind of like he's pushing up towards the front of the court. So that sounds good. But if they do manage to get it past you, Bowser Jr. cannot recover. He can't, because he's at the front of the court. But since you are at the front, you can kind of control the pace of the game if you can continue to hit the ball. But if they do get it past you, that's just a point against you. So it's very risk, high reward kind of thing. His offensive power shot is definitely one of the weaker ones. It doesn't hit it very hard. The status effect slows the opponent, which is good, but he paints the ball. It launches three balls, which sounds good. Don't get me wrong, but it's always in the center of the three. If it was like maybe random, like maybe if like the tennis ball was bigger and it would be like either one of the three, then they would be so much better. Because like then you would kind of like, okay, which one's gonna be the tennis ball? I need to like pay attention. But since it's always in the middle, you kind of like react where it's gonna be. So that's kind of a bad thing. Like one of the worst power shots for sure. Yeah, it's not super fast either. But Bowser Jr. is fast, and he does have those tricky curves. So like that's why he's on like the verge of B rank. He's like kind of like in the middle between B and C for sure. So I'll just do this really quick. So he's definitely top of C or bottom of B for sure. Petey. Oh man, I want to like Petey so bad, but he's not super great. He's very slow, and he takes up so much of the camera view if you're in the front. So like it's very hard to see the ball. That's a con like against like you're the one playing him. Like I said, he's slow. He hits hard. Don't get me wrong, he hits hard. His power shots, they're alright, but he's very slow. He is very slow. His defensive power shot, I think it makes a tornado and he goes and gets it, so he stays in the same position. So it's good for heavy, but if they kind of just hit it in the same spot, he most likely isn't going to get to the same go over to hit it. Because if he had to use his power shot to hit it to begin with, he's probably not going to be able to get to that corner to return it the next volley. His offensive power shot's actually pretty good. Swallows his racket, covers it with goop, and he hits it, and it's a really fast power shot. So it's very fast. So it can really catch someone off guard for sure. Yeah, but he's just super slow. Like his power shots aren't super laggy, so he's probably better than DK in that regard. But DK I think is faster, so it depends on the matchup. But I think PD is probably slightly better than DK, not by much, but probably slightly better. Wiggler, C rank probably for sure. He's the only other defense character, so that's something to keep in mind. He's the only other defense character in the game. There's only two, Waluigi and Wiggler. But you can see the difference gap between like that I have them. So Waluigi's just far better as a defense. Wiggler, he's big, so he can still kind of hit the same stuff as Waluigi. But Waluigi's power shots are just so much better than Wiggler's. Wiggler's power shots, his defensive power shots, which one is it? I think it's, yeah, he turns into Flutter, and he goes against the ball. So he moves, and it's not like Waluigi where he kind of stays in the middle of the court. Sometimes he goes on the other side of the court. So if you just kind of hit it on the upside, keep him moving, he's gonna lose balance. And then his offensive power shot turns red, gets angry, and then hits it. So it's a fast power shot. Catch someone off guard. Probably the same thing as Petey. But he's just better than Petey and DK because he's a defense character, so it's hard to get around him. But I think Waluigi is probably faster too than Wiggler. I think Wiggler's definitely on the slower side for sure. Yeah, if you want to pick a defense character, probably just pick Waluigi. He's just flat out better. But Wiggler, he has his strengths. He does have his strengths though, because his power shots is definitely faster than Waluigi's. He might be able to help a teammate better also, so he might be better in doubles. But this is mostly for singles. And Flyguy. Flyguy probably, again, probably the same thing as Bowser Jr. Probably like either in between C and B. So I'll just like toss him here for now. Shy Guy, he's what is he? I think he's a technique character. Yeah, the technique. So he kind of curves the ball in a way where he can aim where he wants to go better than any others. He's flying, so he's a little faster. Yeah, he is faster, like on the ground. So same thing as Paratrooper. I haven't really like played too much with Flyguy, so I don't really know everything about him. But his defensive power shot, it's the same thing, pretty much the same thing as Petey's, where he makes a tornado. Tornado goes and gets it. So again, he stays in position, and since he's faster, he can react to the next volley for sure, a lot better than Petey can. And then his offensive power shot, I think it's the same thing as, honestly, I think it is the same thing as Paratrooper. It's like where he goes back, hits it. I don't remember. It's not a lob shot. I think it just goes faster. So it's not a lob shot. But he does have more control of the ball, and he's probably faster than maybe Paratrooper, or maybe the same speed. Again, I haven't like played too much with Flyguy, so he might change the tier list for sure. But honestly, this is probably a pretty good understanding of Mario Power Tennis for me since I played the game quite a lot. This is my tier list for Mario Power Tennis. Peach, Waluigi, Yoshi, best characters in the game. Don't at me. They are broken. Peach is busted. I'm basically the E-Sam of Mario Power Tennis with Pikachu. Peach is busted. Yeah, but I want to get Mario Power Tennis competitive season or community running, because I think this game could be really freaking cool competitive. So I want to try to get some tournaments with Mario Power Tennis, because I think it'll be really hard to watch. But if you guys I don't know, make your own tier lists, bring it out there, we'll get this community started. This is Red Leader signing off.